Welcome again, guys. Gunning to Old Trafford here with your host, Ibi and Shady, Ibi, same thing, Ibi. Welcome, Ibi. Guys, we are here with our most interesting segment. But nevertheless, I'm going to let Ibrahim bring us in. Ibrahim, I know you're very excited about this segment.
Always
and I know today you got a bit of a big surprise, a lucky packet for us. I'm looking forward to it.
I don't think that there's any Arsenal player that will ever match the player that I'm going to talk about in my past segment.
Ibrahim is starting again with
right, so, and we've got Farid behind the camera, and I see Farid is nodding in agreement with me. Because I don't think any... I mean, when he hears it...
Does Farid know about it? Not yet.
No, not yet. Or maybe he does. But I don't think there's any Arsenal fan or Arsenal player that will ever reach this guy's heights. Maybe Henry, but I don't think so. But anyways, so today's segment is the past and present segment. We really love this segment, and the reason being, the present players, obviously, a lot of the younger generation know who they are, and they get used to these type of players. But forget about the older players. Which really built success for these clubs and really, cemented them in the history book. So it's good to touch on this. So as I'm a really, courteous person, a gracious person, I'm going to let Abdul go first.
And since Ibrahim has got a blockbuster for us today, I think I should go first.
Yeah, especially. I mean, I'm going to outshine you today for sure.
Okay, done.
But Abdul's going to go first.
Okay.
With his past and present, and then I'll start with my present, and then I'll end off with my past player.
Okay, so guys, as you guys know from previous videos, I like to use a past player and a present player, which basically are very similar and mirror each other. So today I'm going for... I don't know if you guys remember this, but I know Farid, you remember this guy. Ibrahim, you remember this guy, and I do too. This guy was such a great player, but obviously his career was cut short because of injuries, and he was compared to Patrick Vieira. When Patrick Vieira left Arsenal to go to Juventus, we had obviously a certain Cesc Fabregas who took the number 4 jersey, but we had next to Cesc Fabregas none other than Abu Diaby. A name what lost a player. Lost in the current... but a prolific box-to-box player. Came from PSG, moved to... I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this. Maybe Farid or Ibrahim. Oze. Is it Oze from France? Oze. He was there for 2 years. Then he moved to Arsenal. And when he came to Arsenal, gave him the number 2 jersey, really cemented himself, but injuries were terrible. Arsene Wenger loved him. He was
a mainstay in the French team as well, right?
He did, I think, under 21, and he got a few French caps just before he made it. He was described from Arsene Wenger as elusive and very athletic. So he was this box-to-box midfielder, which... Arsenal were really fond of having, because you had a Patrick Vieira and you had like a Ray Paulo, then a Cesc Fabregas, who just now assisted them in moving forward and moving backwards. In the 2010 season, he broke through, and this was when Vieira already left. Fabregas and alongside Abu Diaby was Alex Song, if you guys remember. What a player, decent player, and Cesc Fabregas. So. And then obviously it was a formidable midfield, but obviously injuries plagued. He played a few games for the French international team, and things just went haywire for him. So today, guys, my Abu Diaby, please jump on the comment field. We're going to send in some stuff as well. Abu Diaby, you are my past player, a player which is very much forgotten. Yeah. But really, I mean, was at Arsenal for about 8 years. And really embodied the club. I mean, what the club stood for. He came in a club that was going through a transition, because, I mean, we lost the Vieira, we lost the Bergkamp, and he really came and he cemented himself. And I was very disappointed.
And I think Arsene Wenger type player.
Yeah, definitely.
I think a player that, really fit the mold of what Arsene Wenger looked in for a player.
And of Ivorian descent.
Yeah.
So that's why he gets that athletic... stature. Yes. And not moving very far, in a very similar mirror effect to like Abu Diaby is somebody which I don't think you guys have watched much of, because he hasn't been playing. But obviously this was a player which was spoken so much by Thierry Henry, because Thierry Henry has got links in the Belgium team. He's the assistant coach. So Sambi Lakonga
You mentioned him a few times on Instagram.
I did.
Abdul really likes this player.
I do, because I mean he reminds me so much of Abu Dhabi, a Patrick Vieira kind of player, box to box, holds a play, still a little bit young, only 21 years old now. Came from is it Anderlecht? Yes, Anderlecht.
Belgian team, yeah.
Belgian team. And at that time, guys, remember Company?
I mean, Company was a coach,
Company,
right?
but in Company didn't want to let him go.
Yeah.
Company didn't want to go. Sambi Lakonga he's of Congolese descent as well. He has played for the Belgium international structure from under 17, under 21 and under 23, and he's now a confirmed Belgium international.
So he's going to the World Cup?
It looks like it. I hope he needs to get a few games, but obviously, like we said in the previous segments, with the Europa League coming up in a few games, he's part of the team. Was supposed to go out on loan this season, but Ateta said he's going to keep him just for some backup, because with Partey's injuries and stuff. So not a Partey kind of player, but somebody good for squad depth and will get better as time goes, right? So
brilliant. I love it. I think
so. That's my two.
I mean, so it's Abu Dhabi and Sambi Lakonga.
Sambi Lakonga. Albert Sambi Lakonga.
Right. So guys, if you want to look into this player, we'll drop some links in the comments, just so that you can go back and find Abu Dhabi and some matches around Abu Dhabi and see why Abdul is going crazy about him. He was really an exceptional midfielder. And I think if injuries didn't plague him as much as he did, he would have turned out to be a mainstay in a lot of people's names,
100%.
So, yeah.
We're going to do your pass last.
Yeah, we leave the pass for last.
The pass for last. I'm looking... Bullet. Farid, are you excited? Farid says he's excited, guys. I'm very excited because Ibrahim says he's got a humdinger for us. So Ibrahim, your present.
So my present player, I think as well, it's going to create some hype. It's none other than the butcher of Manchester, Lisandro Martinez. I think after a long time, Manchester United have a defender that can defend outside Varane. And that's hungry, that has the aggressiveness or the right type of aggressiveness. So you're not to hurt a player, but to get into the tackles, to put his body on the line. Yeah. And I haven't seen that, since the likes of Steve Bruce, Nemanja Vidic.
No, you guys have been missing that for a long time.
I know Rojo had it a bit. So Rojo also Argentinian.
Yes,
he had a bit of that fire in him.
But Martinez looks just like the full.
But Rojo had that crazy fire in him.
This one here is more
break someone's leg anytime he went in for a tackle. Whereas Martinez is more composed and he's going in for the right type of tackles, putting his body on the line at the right moments, and playing for the badge.
Yes.
You know what they say? Play for the badge on the front. People will remember the name in the back.
Correct.
And I think 100%. Martinez is going to grow into a bit of a cult hero at Manchester United. Butcher of Manchester. Came from Ajax, and he wasn't even the first choice for Ten Hag. Ten Hag wanted to get in, what's that guy's name?
A centre back.
Centre back from Ajax.
We were actually in for, Arsenal were actually in for Martinez.
Yeah, so Arsenal was in.
And then when you guys got Martinez, because of the Ten Hag situation, we got Zinchenko.
Yeah. So we were meant to go in, why is it named escaping?
I don't know, from where,
but
which
league is it? But it's a centre back from Ajax. Timber, yes, thanks for that. Farid with the save. So United were in for Timber, and then obviously Van Gaal, who we love, came with his comments as the Dutch goes to say, if he goes to United, doesn't get playing time, I'm not taking him to the World Cup. So then Timber decided to stay at Ajax, and then we hijacked the deal from you guys. We then took Martinez, who was about to sign for Arsenal, took him off Arsenal's plate, and he joined Ten Hag at Manchester United. And Timber's been struggling at Ajax without Martinez, and he said in the last interview that Martinez was actually the one that really guided him and brought him into play. So something I think Manchester United fans
and even just
really
to add, Ibrahim, something you can also, and we spoke about it off air, is that his height. You said. You gave me a proper 5'6".
He's our height, right?
He's our height. We
shorties,
right? We shorties, but he's out jumping. He's athletic, man.
No, I think it's
he's
awareness,
brilliant in the air, man.
He'll struggle against bigger players, but he's clever in that, as they're about to jump, he gives them a bit of a nudge.
Yes.
He pulls them in the right time. So, the tricks of a defender. And I think that gives him that edge over strikers.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, my present player, Lisandro Martinez,
beautiful.
I think he's going to be a cult hero at Manchester United.
Agreed.
And he's already known as the Butcher of Manchester. So, we've got the mayor of Manchester in Roy Keane, and now we've got the Butcher of Manchester in Lisandro Martinez. So,
awesome.
My past player, and I think...
Can we... Drum roll!
This player really embodies who Manchester United were, who Manchester United became, and who Manchester United are currently. And it's none other than Sir Booby Charlton. I mean, and again, you tell me now that I mentioned Sir Booby Charlton, do you think there's any Arsenal player that can come, or be spoken in the same discussion as Sir Booby Charlton?
Sir Booby Charlton is the embodiment of the whole English football.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you had a George Graham and stuff. I mean, you had Chapman and stuff. But Booby Charlton modernized football at that age. You know what I'm saying? That they brought us where we are today.
And I think was an inspiration for a lot of English footballers that came through. So the likes of Ian Rush, and I think Farid would appreciate that. The likes of Ian Rush, Kenny Dalglish. Those players looked up to players like Booby Charlton. Kenny Dalglish is Scotsman, but that entire British generation that looked up to players like Booby Charlton.
He embodied
and
what
Dennis
it
Law,
was about,
etc. And also made up part of the Trinity, the United Trinity, right? So I'm just going to give you some facts about Sir Booby Charlton.
This is going to be interesting,
because
guys.
I think we need to pay the respect that is due to a man of his ilk, right? Born in the northeast of England, so a town called Ashington. And there's been a lot of players that have actually come pro out of that town. So I think it's between 10 or 15 players, small town, almost the size of Roshni.
A footballing town.
If some of you people that are watching us don't know, Roshni is a really small town in the end of, at the south of Johannesburg. And Ashington is something similar to that, a really small town. And they produce 10 Premier League players or English Football League players that came out of this town. Booby Charlton wasn't the only Charlton that actually made it international. His brother Jack Charlton was also someone who made it, played for Leeds, and also was a really phenomenal player. And I think they played together for England at a particular time. So he was identified as a 15-year-old schoolboy by Manchester United scout named Joe Armstrong. He used to play for the Northeast Northumberland schools. He was identified, and his mum didn't think that football could be a career. So while he was playing for Manchester United youth team, he did an apprenticeship as an electrical engineer. So not only talented on the field, but also a really intelligent man. Yeah. He made his debut against, you're going to like this, Charlton Athletic. So Booby Charlton
against Charlton Athletic. Is Charlton Athletics in a championship now? They were decent.
Somewhere in the Football League, they were really good.
They were decent.
Paulo Wancho played for them at one point.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
South African player.
Not Dikhashwe played for Fulham.
What's his name? Bartlett. Sean Bartlett.
Sean Bartlett.
Sean Bartlett played for Charlton Athletic. He was amazing.
Beautiful. Yes, I remember.
He debuted against Charlton Athletic in 1956. Sure. 2 years before the Munich disaster. During his time at United, he had to do his national service. So all English youngsters, needed to go into the army and do the national service. So Samet Busby told him to do it in a town called Shrewsbury, so that on the weekends he could still come through and play for Manchester United.
Nice.
So he did his service, continued to play for Manchester United. Nice. He was then part of that entire Munich disaster. He was in the plane that crashed in 1958 when they were coming back from the Champions League, against the team from Yugoslavia. They crashed in Germany, Munich. We lost a few players, some brilliant players. To note, Duncan Edwards, I mentioned him a lot of times. But Sir Booby survived that and then became known as one of the most famous Busby Babes. He then transitioned, or at least the team transitioned from the Busby Babes into the Red Devils, into Samet Busby's second revitalization of Manchester United.
Wow.
He won the Ballon d'Or, first Englishman to win the Ballon d'Or in 1965-66 season.
Amazing.
Amazing. And that was the reason, they won the World Cup. He was an exceptional player. And he was really influential in England, going all the way and winning the World Cup that season. Like I said, famously part of the United Trinity was George Best and Dennis Law. We spoke about George Best. So if you don't, please, and that was for Madam Reddy. Yeah. So if you go back onto some of our streams, you'll find the segment around George Best. He led United, or the first English team to win a European Champions League.
Amazing.
In 1968. So just 10 years after the Munich disaster, he captained the team to a 4-1 win against Benfica, and finished his playing career with Manchester United in 1973. Went on to play for Preston North End, then became their coach, then did a bit of a coaching stint at Wigan.
Did Preston have a very
good relationship with Manchester United?
Some links or something like that.
No, not links, but it was a good relationship.
Good relationship. I remember
Beckham played for Preston North End. Jesse Lingard went there for a bit.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
So, we have some youngsters that went through. Yeah. And, I mean, Sir Booby Charlton, actually, coached them for a bit. As a small stint. 758 appearances for Manchester United. Only surpassed by Ryan Giggs. So it shows you, in what level he was playing at. 249 goals over his playing career.
It's crazy.
Only surpassed by Wayne Rooney. I think Rooney just broke it towards the end of his career. He ended up with 3 league titles, 3 more than Steven Gerrard. So 3.
You had to throw that one in. Yes.
3 Premier League titles, 1 FA Cup, 1 Champions League, Ballon d'Or winner,
What a CV.
Golden Boot in the 1966 World Cup. So he was a top scorer at the World Cup, and was knighted in 1994.
And remember, guys, 1966 and the 1960s, there were no VAR and stuff.
No, nothing.
I mean, these guys were kicking one. This was true football. You know what I mean?
He really brought about that, that direct centre forward that could take shots from outside the box. He scored some crackers, man. So if you go back to, to look at some, and they've put some of those videos in color.
Yeah.
So it looks really, really, really amazing. And ever since he's been involved as part of, Manchester United's board, he's been an ambassador for the club and a true servant to the club. If all you youngsters, if you don't know Sir Booby Charlton, they keep panning to him when they play at home.
Yeah.
You'll get Sir Alex Ferguson, you'll see Sir Booby Charlton. And this is the history that these clubs have and what Manchester United was built on. So, like I said, the ethos that United were built on, the Busby Babes, the revitalization of Manchester United as the Red Devils in Sir Matt Busby's second stint, and then the modernization under Sir Alex Ferguson and Sir Booby Charlton. So Booby Charlton, true and true Manchester United legend, and I think will always be considered one of the greatest English footballers and one of the greatest Manchester United football players. So that's my past player, a humdinger to end it.
And once again, it has been an absolute honor and education again from Ibrahim. Love this guy next to me, and wow, I love that, man.
Thank you.
You always bring us in all of this, and Sir Booby Charlton, wow, salute to you. Big up. And one of the your favorite segments, past and present. Get into that comment field, like, share, comment, hit that bell notification. We've got a surprise coming up for you guys soon. So please stay tuned.
Yep. Happy days. Thank you, guys.
And all the best. And we are Gunning to Old Trafford. Thanks, guys.